You're listening to Partnernomics Podcast, where we discuss the art and science of developing successful strategic partnerships. To learn more about the suite of Partnernomics solutions, visit partnernomics.com.
All right, so today I am joined by Ashish. So Ashish is an executive, a partnering executive, and he is with WiPro, a massive international company that we'll have an opportunity to learn a little bit about. But Ashish is responsible for the Microsoft relationship, and his expertise is in cloud, as among many other things that we'll have an opportunity to learn about. So Ashish, thank you very much for your time. I'm really looking forward to our conversation today.
No, thank you, Mark. It's been wonderful being associated with you. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving, holidays, and you took some time off for yourself and for your family, and hope you are staying safe and healthy. But I look forward for this particular conversation. It's been amazing to learn about your company and the amazing stuff that you are doing in the market.
Well, likewise, you and I had a chance to catch up, several weeks back, and I really got to kind of dig into WiPro for the first time. And wow, I didn't realize your organization was so big. Tell us a little bit about your company and the work that you do there.
Absolutely, it's one of the large global system integrator IT services company. It's a close to $8 billion company. We are NASDAQ, listed. The company started, many years back. Originally, it was not an IT services company, but our chairman, Mr. Azim Premji, who started this company back in India. He started, the IT services company, many years back, and since that time, it has taken the various, twists and turns, and really joined the bandwagon of the growth in the IT sector. And since then, we have been, serving various customers globally. Pretty phenomenal company with a great cultural aspect to it. Our chairman himself has been one of the very, very major philanthropists, in the industry. And most of the profit that we make, goes in the philanthropy and helping in the poor section of the society to make their lives better. So, that's the pride with which, I and many of my colleagues work at WiPro. In my current role, I have been managing the very, very large partnership of WiPro with Microsoft. It's one of the top partnerships for us, and it's the area where we are seeing a very phenomenal growth in last few years, and the future looks extremely, happy and business centric around it. Pretty excited to be part of this role, and every day is unique, for me to learn something more about the partnership. And it's a journey of growth that I'm pretty excited about.
So Ashish, tell us, how did you get into the partnering role? So whenever you started your career, what are some different positions that you were in, and then how did you evolve to the partnerships role?
So Mark, I have been very lucky to have played various different roles, and I have been thankful to all the organizations where I worked with. I started my career as a developer. I still continue to be a developer. That's the mindset that I carry. And then, I worked, for the different organizations in the capacity of developer, the business development, sales, and things like that. That's when I realized in order to create a better value for customers, one of the key ingredients is the partnership, is to do the partnership with the right set of people, with the right set of companies, and unlocking the real value that you can offer to the customer. And it's like this, more and more you see these kind of patterns coming in your day-to-day work life. You get passionate about those things way much more, and that's what excited me about partnership. And when this particular role opened up in my company, I just latched onto it, and I reached out to the hiring manager myself, and it's been a phenomenal journey since then. I've been doing this role for a little more than 2 years, and what a journey it has been.
What would you say has been, I guess, the biggest surprise about being in this role, or maybe something that as you came into the role you weren't really expecting?
Great question. All my roles, Mark, previously were very, very goal driven, or I would say what they call as a finite game, right? When I was in sales, all my target was by end of this quarter, I'm going to achieve X, Y, Z, right? And if I was there, and I was if I achieved XYZ, it was a very happy quarter. If I was not able to achieve, XYZ at the end of the quarter or the year, yeah, I mean, it was a great learning. But here in this role, in the partnership, it's like an infinite game. The impact that one can create in this role, by working with your partner, working within your own organization, helping others to really understand the value of the partnership, that possibility is very unique and huge. And that's the biggest difference that I see in the role of the partnership compared to other roles. It is pretty much an infinite game, and the impact that you can create through the partnership is huge. It cannot be measured.
Yeah, Ashish, we talk a lot about, having the mindset for this multiplier effect, where there is no cap, there is no ceiling, as opposed to like a zero sum approach where my win has to come at your loss. Do you also kind of have and share that mindset whenever it comes to partnering, that we truly have the opportunity to not only increase the size of our pie slice, but we can increase the size of the pie as well? I mean, everybody gets an opportunity to win.
No, absolutely. And very fondly, I call, partnership is equal to more, right? See, because, in my sector of the business, in typically in the IT services, we do business by simplifying, the customer's journey, by solving customers' problem, right? And, if you really see the historical pattern of, few industries, I mean, you can take financial services or pharmaceuticals or oil and gas or manufacturing. I mean, the whole business has completely, moved from the way it was, driven analog in earlier days to more digital, right? And doing digital transformation means simplifying customers' journey. It has no limits, right? And what it really means for the partnership is, you can solve customer problem and then, take customer from a scale on, 0 to 100 to, let's say, 40. But by partnering with the right and effective players, where you are unlocking the value of, finding the right solution for customer, simplifying their business, you probably can take to not from 40 to 70, but you can take 100 and beyond, right? And that's the true value of the partnership. And I have many stories and many amazing experience to talk about it, where many times customers themselves were not aware that, hey, there was a problem, and by collaborating together with partners and with customers, we figured out, hey, there was indeed a problem, and the impact that we created for customer was way too much unique in that particular industry. So totally agree, Mark. I mean, it's pretty phenomenal how this is, in a true sense, is a game which is not capped, and possibilities are way beyond that we can even think and imagine.
You've been in this role for a few years now, and you were in more of kind of what we call a transactional role, right, where we have quotas and we're driving against that. But this world of partnering or biz dev and doing this sort of a function is quite a bit different. What are some things that you did to learn the art and science of partnering, and what are some things that you did to get yourself up to speed to get the success that you've had in your role so far?
Well, Mark, I really wish if there was a 101 course for the partnership, or as they call it, right? I mean, the dummy courses, to learn about something new. I really wish I had that when I started in this role. One thing that I learned the various aspects of partnership by failing more and learning fast, right? I think I just kept exploring many facets of partnership, and kept challenging myself, and I was very lucky to have a phenomenal team who supported me, my managers all through, who supported me and who gave me the freedom to kind of explore few things. So I would say I failed more. I learned fast. I wish there was a 101 course that could have helped me to kind of learn the art and science of the partnership. And here is the beauty of it, right? I mean, you can put, multiple frameworks in order to ease the whole process of partnership, right? And I'm sure, there are many out there, which is the science part of it. But no, that's where the art of the partnerships comes into the effect. I mean, it is all about, building that trust, which cannot be done overnight. I mean, it has to be, built. It has to be sustained over time, right? And that's when you see the value coming in for the customer and for your organization. So that's the art part of it. And, honestly, I'm still learning, the science and art of the partnership and trying to get better in my current journey.
Yeah, we all are, I think. We all are. Ashish, you hit a word that, that really resonates with me, and it's really the long term, right? It's the relationship, but it's wanting to develop that long-term partnership. What are some things that you've done, or just as a mindset for you and your team as you guys manage these relationships on a day-to-day basis? What are some things that you do to help really foster that long-term gain?
Well, we keep customer at the core of every conversation, right? And that always helps, Mark, in not only in my industry, but in any industry. So we keep customer at the core. And in any partnership, one needs to be aware of the wealth of the different assets of the partnership that you can bring in. So in my current role, where I'm managing the partnership with Microsoft, it's a great company. And you really need to kind of get the wealth of the various things that could be offered from the partnership. It could be from the perspective of solution architecture. It could be from the perspective of that, hey, if we have done ABC, then what are the other possibilities to do for customer? It is also about coming together, showing one face to customer. It's super important, because then customer sees you, that you are having one face of the partnership, and what you're talking is really not what you're talking in the slides is actually happening on the ground. So one thing that has really helped me and my team and kept us honest about it is we always keep customer as the forefront of every partnership conversation. And here is the amazing thing about the whole journey. Partnership is one of the very, very core ingredients of winning more. I won't say it's the only ingredient, but it is the core ingredient of winning more. If you need to do, let's say, 20 things right in order to win more business in the marketplace, I would say it is one of the core ones, right? And many times, a lot of effort and energy from me and my team goes to evangelize and tell our own colleagues, our own business development guys and sales colleagues, and the the colleagues on the other side of the partnership, where we need to make a constant effort to tell our stories, right? So a lot of effort goes in telling the stories consistently over and over again. And one of the things that I have seen in the past is you just need the first win. The moment you let your land your first win, then it scales out pretty fast. So yeah, there is no success mantra, I would say, but yeah, doing it over and over again and keeping the customer at the forefront of every partnership conversation goes a long way.
Whenever we find ourselves in these different partnerships, there's so many different aspects to them. Technology is just changing the way that we live in so many different ways. How, within your role, you're right in the middle of technology. It sounds like you've been in the middle of technology in your whole career. How has technologies and partnerships combined to change the way that you see business being done and what you see for the future?
It's a great question. Technology has really helped the partnership in order to get closer to the customer. I would think. I give a very great, I give an analogy which is very relevant in my part of the business. Going back, to, let's say 2000s, if you had to do a certain piece of work for customer, it probably would have taken few months to do, right? And pretty commercially it was very high value. With the technology induction in the partnership, and by choosing the right moving parts in your entire offer to the customer, the same work today could be done probably in few weeks or few months, right? At probably 1/10 or much lesser cost than what could be done few years back. And that's the impact of the technology and the partnership. Today, if you really see the ecosystem of the partnerships in the high tech or the technology world, it is pretty amazing. You see, many new startups are coming along. Everyone is pretty unique in the way they're trying to solve some customer problem in some customer segment, and that's a very, very unique opportunity for any company who's operating in this particular segment to really evaluate the different partnerships, to understand what are you trying to solve, to understand how does it fit into your entire ecosystem play, and then launch this particular offer, and then sell it to customer. You see, again, it is not about you selling to customer, but is it compelling enough where customer can buy from you, right? And I think that's the core of the technology in the partnership world. It is becoming much more, I would say, simple. It is becoming much more clearer now, where we as an organization see where the value of each of the partnerships lie. And I think it is becoming much more collaborative in last few years, Mark. And more companies, technology companies, are now having the great partnership model. And you'll be surprised to see in the technology world how many triangulation partnerships, or how many partnerships where more than 2, 3, 4 partners are involved, and such kind of large programs are running where customers are getting benefited. So it's very exciting times in the technology world, and it is truly impacting the partnership in a very positive way.
Yeah, it's amazing. It seems that the solutions themselves are really complex, but great companies make them seem simple. And to be able to bring those together. And I think, it just feels that what I've seen over the last 20 plus years being in telecommunications and then continuing on in different technologies, it's companies, just embracing what clients are looking for, trying to make that big, easy button for their clients. And it's virtually impossible to do it purely organically, purely building it yourself. Maybe you can build it, but you won't be able to build it as good or as fast as companies that truly leverage the power of partnership. And I think that's the ones that we're seeing play out as being the winners in the space. I'd love to talk a little bit about how you've seen, and even like with your role, the pandemic, and how that's changed partnering, or maybe even just the way we do business. But how has the partnering role in this world of partnerships changed over the last 9 months?
Wow, it's a great question, Mark. And back early, in 2020, when we were just hit by the pandemic situation, I guess in early March, right? I think there were many unknowns, right? And we didn't know, what we were getting into. See, the way partnership has changed since the pandemic started is you are able to see, the people whom you never saw, earlier on your computer screens and on your laptops. So from that standpoint, I have been face to face with most of my colleagues in my company and in my partnership company globally across regions, and that's a great revelation, which is a very positive sign, because earlier I don't think we had the habit, or we were tuned to kind of get into the video calls this often, right? One thing which is missed immensely in this particular situation is you are not able to be in person in front of people. And I think that's where magic happens, Mark. When you are together, representing in front of customer, that's when the magic happens. That's where the customers see value. That's where both partners or multiple partners who are in the partnership see value. I'm sure this is temporary, and we will very soon get past this situation. So it's a challenging time, but at the same time, we are able to kind of learn lot more, and lot more newer things in the current situation. There were few scenarios, few solutions, few themes which probably took way much longer for us to launch in the marketplace. We were able to launch probably in few months because that was a need of the industry, right? And I think it was a very interesting comment made by one of the very senior leaders in the industry. The pandemic situation has seen 2 years of digital transformation just in 2 months. And it is so true. I mean, we see, customers are just adopting to that situation, and the whole industry is, moving moving in this current situation. But we are really hoping that, we get past the situation pretty fast, and you are able to, meet people in person, talk to people in person, and get in front of the customer as fast as you can.
Man, it has been really interesting just to see how companies have shifted, pivoted, adapted. And I think, I'm going to speak for myself, within our own organization, it's been a wake-up call for a lot of different companies, and even our clients, that it's not guaranteed that it's going to be business as usual anytime in the future. And this is a kind of a first time. This is a first for basically all of us, for a lot of us. And there's been a lot of shifts, and it's probably told us a lot about our cultures, about our processes, the way that we do business, how well we work together, how adaptive we are. And hopefully this has been a learning opportunity for each of us as business leaders as well.
No, absolutely. And as you said, we all are learning, as the time progresses. But yes, at the same time, I'm pretty hopeful about the future, about the business ecosystem and the whole partnership. I mean, the current situation has given us a lot more newer areas to look into, growing the partnership. And as I said earlier, I mean, I have been able to be face to face with so many people on screen. If it was not pandemic, I don't think I would be able to do that. There was a very interesting time when I was working with one of my colleagues for many years, and I never saw him. And here I was. These days I speak with him face to face on video screen. Every week, pretty much. So interesting times, and we are a lot learning from it.
Meeting via video conference is not as good as face-to-face. Nothing will ever replace face-to-face, but it's still a good way to get stuff done, especially whenever we're dealing with people or working with folks, collaborating with folks literally all over the world. It's amazing how small our world has become over the last 9 months, but really the last couple of years with technology. It's really opening a lot of doors for people that are taking advantage of that. I'd like to just pick your brain a little bit and ask, how do you define success for partnerships? Are you talking, kind of the short term, the long term views, but as you set out for, new initiatives, how do you think about success, and how do you define success?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question, Mark. In the partnership, there are many ways in which we measure, right? One of the ways in which we measure our partnership is the multi-year vision. Could be 3-year vision, 5-year vision. And how we are seeing the industry, how we are seeing growth with the partnership. And one is, of course, having that kind of very clear thinking and very clear strategy with respect to what businesses, what regions, what are you going to sell to customer? Why should customer buy from you, right? So that is one part of the measurement, which is really the vision statement. That I drive my partnership with Microsoft. Second part is when that vision statement is then further broken into how you achieve it. Year on year, what are you going to do? Are we talking that you are going to do XYZ by end of year 1, so that you are on the right trajectory to kind of achieve your 3 to 5 year vision, right? And then that further comes down to what is required to be done with respect to execution. What do you need to launch new in the market? What do you need to sell together in the market? How you market your offerings better? What do you need to take to customer better? How you need to tell your stories better? And everything is pretty much measured on your sales pipeline, on your closures that you do in the marketplace, right? And that's where I track the closures of the sales pipeline and the new orders and the revenue that we do with the partnership on the quarter-on-quarter basis. So it is pretty much, your 3 to 5 year, vision statement, and how it percolates down to the, yearly plan, and how it then further goes down to, say, your quarterly plan or the monthly plan. And it is important so that, you can keep it real. The mistakes that you are making, how to, accelerate, your motion that needs more acceleration. And I think that's the core of the partnership. You can pretty much start with your vision statement, but it has to happen day after day, week after week, month after month. And as I said earlier, I mean, it is all about sustaining the business, sustaining the partnership across your various regions, if it is a global partnership, across your various industries, if you're partnering across multiple industries.
And Ashish, a lot of what you're talking about is, sales partnerships, through channel, through those different segments where it's about revenue generation, revenue creation. I love how you're laying out there that it's a multi-year view, and things take time to put in place and to learn. What kind of advice would you give to an executive that was maybe looking to stand up a channel partnership program for the first time, and they're wanting to leverage some of these relationships? What kind of expectations, would you like to kind of share with what that executive should expect so that they're not surprised?
Well, I would say two things. One is the partnership is an infinite game. The value which one can create through partnership is pretty much infinite. It's boundaryless, right? So my advice to any executive getting into the partnership role is, don't consider this as an immediate target of something that you want to achieve at the end of the month or at the end of the year, right? It is way beyond that, right? So think about the larger picture that you can create for yourself, and you can create for your organization and the organization whom you're partnering with. That's number one. Number two is the partnership gets built every day, right? And you learn every day. I mean, you have to invest your effort, your faith, your trust in the partnership, and explore ways in which you can add value to customer. And again, every time you cannot quantify the value that you can create to the customer. Many times it is much smaller, but then if you keep doing smaller bit day after day after day, and it's amazing how let's say end of your fiscal year, you will see the impact that you have created through the partnership, right? And through the process, it's very important for a new executive getting into the partnership is to really understand the art of telling your partnership stories to every part of your organization and your partner's organization. It's amazing, Mark, how many times I have continuously told the same story to bunch of my colleagues and my partners, and every time there has been an aha moment. Oh, you know what? We never knew about this. You guys do this. And I think that's the value of the partnership. That's the value of the telling your partnership stories to the right set of people. And together, when you close something for customer and help customer to really find the value in the partnership, I think as a partner you win, right? So cherish those successes. Share your success stories. Learn from failures and move fast. That's what I would suggest to any new executive getting into partnership.
Yeah, awesome advice. Awesome advice. Well, Ashish, I can't thank you enough for sharing your insights and for all the awesome work that you're doing, for being a contributor to the community of partners by participating in this podcast. I definitely appreciate that. And I'm looking forward to watching how you and the WiPro team, how you guys continue to grow your business in the coming months and years.
Absolutely. It was a very a pleasure talking to you, Mark. And every time I talk to you, there is a new learning, right? So today I have made notes of a few points which probably I never learned from you. So thank you for sharing those nuggets. It's pretty important, in the area of partnership, how these smaller things can make an impact on your day-to-day, work life, and partnering with your partner better, and doing the right thing for the customer. I appreciate your time. It was fun talking to you, and I look forward for your continued success in this particular area. And contributing significantly to the partnership ecosystem.
Thank you, Ashish. I appreciate it.
Partnernomics Podcast is brought to you by Partnernomics. Learn how to leverage the power of partnership. To listen to more episodes of Partnernomics Podcast, visit partnernomics.com.